My father, he thinks I'm insane.
From the writers of Lost and the creators of Once Upon a Time.
You claimed you traveled to this place, Wonderland. You fell in love with the genie.
I'm gonna find him.
She's not the Alice you thought you knew.
I sense that you can take care of yourself.
Thursday, the search for her lost love begins.
All right, Rabbit, take your hold.
Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Series premiere Thursday at 8, 7 Central. Followed by an all-new Grey's Anatomy and Scandal on ABC.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show.
Oh yeah, doesn't that feel epic? Hey there, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans. Bing is for doing, and we are here doing another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show. This is Season 1, Episode 3, The Asset. I am Matt Lieberman, and joining me on the panel tonight is the wonderful and lovely Miss Kristin Carole.
Hey, guys.
And we have a special guest tonight, Mr. Jacob Hopkins.
Hello.
You may remember Jacob as a young vampire on True Blood, and he is also the voice of Gumball in The Amazing Adventures of Gumball. Thank you so much for coming. You're a big Marvel fan.
Yes, I am.
What did you think of the episode?
I thought it was really suspenseful at the end, you know, with Graviton reaching out the hand. But I like the whole concept, like, you know, Skye learning how to defend herself, being more committed to being a field agent. It was really awesome. I really liked it.
Yeah, I love that she's finally seemingly made a choice. You know, like the last episode, it seemed like she was still working for Rising Tide, but now she believes in what S.H.I.E.L.D. stands for. She wants to be part of the team, and she really, you know, made herself useful this week and kind of owned up to herself in a big way. And I think that was important because, like, we've all been, since the beginning of the show, kind of on the fence about her. You know, she's making quips, but she doesn't really have any loyalty. And we kind of got to her heart this episode.
Well, yeah, we learned more of her background story, which had been lacking. It was something we talked about. We wanted to get to know these characters a little bit more because we don't feel as big of a connection except for Coulson, because we all love him.
We all love Coulson.
Oh,
movies.
Yeah. Coulson from the Avengers.
Now, I hear that you're a huge Marvel fan. You have an autograph by Stan Lee.
Yeah, it's a new series for Spider-Man called Back in Black with this symbiote suit.
He's going back in the symbiote suit?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
That thing that just took over, he's bringing it back on. And I got it signed by Stan Lee, so even better.
That's awesome.
You think Spider-Man would have learned his lesson about that stuff?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not going to be able to use the same trick to get it off twice. He's not going to be able to go back to that bell tower to get it off. Oh, man. I could talk about that forever, but he is not a member of the Avengers, at least in the movie and TV universe. He is not on this show.
That's because Sony owns him.
Yeah, let's talk about our favorite characters. The relationship between Ward and Skye is getting a little more complicated.
Well, it's funny when you were saying earlier that the reason she started joining the group was because she believed in their message and everything. I think it's also because she believed in Agent Ward.
Yeah, he kind of he brought it himself down to her level, and he opened up to her. You know, there was that whole discussion about whether or not there was the truth serum.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I think kind of brought down another wall. What did you think about that exchange? Do you think there was a truth serum, or wasn't there?
Well, I'd like to know the truth about the truth serum, but I think that there probably wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was just a ploy to earn her trust, you think?
Yeah. I really think that, because in the last episode, Ward was like saying, giving out the truth, that it's like tempting her to give him the information, like earn the trust, like I can't lie to a beautiful girl like her.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, well, I'll tell you.
Yeah, totally.
Just saying he
One of
flattered
those-
her and then she just
Yeah.
let everything else slide.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, that works on some people.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm not gonna say it works on me, but
I'm a girl. I can say it generally works.
yeah, flattery will get you everywhere.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. Well, as we saw,
Don't tell my boyfriend.
we won't, and neither will any of our viewers or listeners. Don't tell Kristin's boyfriend she asked you special,
No,
so
exactly.
don't do it.
Please don't.
Speaking of epic love, we had an advertisement for it at the beginning of our show, but I just wanted to quickly talk about a brand new series that's coming to ABC this Thursday, October 10th. It's called Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Don't be late for the biggest adventure of the season. Jump down the rabbit hole into the epic romance. It's the premiere of ABC's brand new series, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. She's not the Alice you thought you knew. She's all grown up, smarter, stronger, a fighter, and in love with the genie from Aladdin. Her father thinks she's crazy and her doctors agree, but Alice embarks on her most dangerous and mysterious journey yet. Back to Wonderland to rescue her one true love who's being held captive by the Red Queen and Jafar, the evil wizard from the Aladdin tale. From the writers of Lost and the creators of Once Upon a Time comes a brand new series, a whole new world loaded with stunning visual effects. TV Guide calls it provocative. Starring Lost Naveen Andrews, Sophie Lowe, Peter Gadio, Emma Rigby, Michael Soka, and John Lithgow as the White Rabbit. Alice's search for her lost love begins. It's this year's Don't Miss television event. It is this Thursday. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland series premiere this Thursday, 8/7 Central on ABC. Do not be late. Don't miss it. I know that I won't. And then when you watch it, come back to AfterBuzz and listen to the after show on it. My dear friend Jackie Borowski, who's on Sleepy Hollow with me, is going to be on the panel, and she is super fantastic. So definitely stick around for that. Once Upon a Time in Wonderland this Thursday, 8/7 Central. Don't be late. Okay, back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what we're here to talk about. We love the show. So we open with this epic gravity sequence as this semi-truck gets lifted into the air. This dude doesn't know what's going on. He's super freaked out. And then we have these guys who, at the time, did you guys think that they were Rising Tide agents at the top who stole Dr. Hall? I don't know. Was that just me?
Well, maybe because I was reading some of the spoilers about it. I kind of already knew what was going on.
Yeah,
I'm
Jacob,
one of those bad people.
what'd you think?
Well, I thought he was some sort of hillbilly guy in his truck listening to some country music. I didn't expect he would actually know how to operate those holograms that Tony Stark uses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I just like that he was Agent Mac and kind of driving a Mac truck.
I know. That was super funny.
I wonder if the pun
Oh.
was intended.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Josh Whedon tended to do that.
Yeah, Joss Whedon loves his puns, as do Jed and Marissa Tancharoen. The little device powered by gravitonium, a brand new element that messes up gravity like what is in play. And Ian
up
Quinn,
is down, right is
right is left, or really
dogs and cats living together.
Exactly. It's pandemonium.
Mass hysteria.
Everyone loves Ghostbusters. I
That's
do.
like-
Do you like Ghostbusters, Jacob?
I love Ghostbusters. I've seen
Ghostbusters
first and second. Yeah.
Yeah, there may be a third. Who knows? We'll find out.
Cool stunts though for
Yes.
a TV show to really do that. I mean, when I saw that, I immediately thought Dark Knight.
Oh, totally. When the semi truck gets flipped,
Yeah.
with that you see the epic canister of air flipping this massive truck. Yeah, that was cool. And then the look on Dr. Hall's face when the guys open up his little cold storage unit. He's like, "Are we there yet?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, this dude planned his own escape, only to discover that was kind of the case. It actually was the case. He had leaked information to Ian Quinn to get him to kidnap him because he found out that Ian had found more gravitonium and that he was planning something dastardly and he had to take that power out of his hands. Kind of a convoluted plot. Did you see that coming, Jacob?
I saw the scientist would kind of work with him, but because he was actually kind of forcing him to work with them, so it's like he had no choice basically.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, Jacob, you're working on a lot of interesting projects lately. You're going to be appearing on The Goldbergs soon, another ABC show. Is
Yeah,
that
right
correct?
after the
right
Agents of
after
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've actually been shooting all this week.
Great.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about your role, or do you have to keep it under wraps? I'm
Oh
sure
no,
it's not.
I can tell you.
Okay, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a Marvel show. You can tell us something.
Well, I'm a 12-year-old kid named Chad Kremp, just moved in across the Goldberg's house, and I'm a cool, preppy kid on the surface, but underneath, I'm a geek.
Okay.
I love all the stuff that Adam loves, so we kind of have like a lot of things in common.
You find a natural bond.
Yeah, and then my mom, Virginia Kremp, she threatens to end our relationship because she doesn't want the Goldbergs' behavior to rub off on me.
Well, you know what? Shame on Virginia Cramp, because the Goldbergs are nothing if not a loving family. Shame on you hear me, Virginia? Don't do that.
Something
you
tells
know,
me
in
he'll get
some
away
way.
with it.
Yeah.
In some way, they're loving.
Yeah.
Each one of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. So that's exciting. Do you know when your first episode premieres?
I don't know yet, but I'll let you know once I get the dates.
Fantastic, and we'll relay that to our fan base as soon as we find that out. But you've got a movie coming out on Lifetime. It's Missing at 17. That's right.
Yes, it's going to come out October 19th. Just want to let you know it's on a Saturday.
Okay.
And it's on 8 p.m.
What is that about, and who do you play?
Well, I play Andrew White, which is the little brother of Candace White, who is played by Ayla Cal, and she goes missing at 17 years old.
Sure.
Yeah. And so it's like this mad hunt trying to find her and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty scary at one point because she meets some people that, aren't really that nice and,
Yeah, well,
kinda
that's what
dangerous.
happens. That's the danger of going missing, is you just
Yeah.
meet the worst people
You have
when you
such
go missing.
3 different roles you've got
I
here.
know, you got serious.
Yeah,
roles.
I'm a
Children,
blue
vampire. What do you like doing?
I'm a vampire. I'm some kid trying to find my sister. I'm a blue cat.
Yeah,
Who am I?
I don't know.
What do you like doing out of that
what's your
group?
favorite?
What would you prefer?
Well, I wouldn't really have a favorite. I like all of them. So I would say that I really like Gumball and Goldbergs because I finished shooting Missing at 17. So Gumball is really fun. I enjoy it because I'm a big fan of the show. So, yeah.
Well, tell me about Gumball. So there's new episodes coming out in a few months. Is that right?
Yeah, for the spring next year. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Can you give us anything about upcoming storylines for Gumball?
I can't tell you about storylines yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just the publicity.
I know. Hey, man, I know how it all works. You don't have to be, you don't have to be all business with me, but you're a young role model as an actor. You've been doing this now for a few years, and I really appreciate you coming on the show, and keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing that you're able to do this many things. You're doing voice, you're doing comedy, you're doing drama, and just keep plugging, man. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on the show. We know you're a fan of Marvel, and we appreciate your opinion.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
welcome. All
It's very
right.
cool. I was excited because I'm a big True Blood fan.
Oh,
Totally.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, the Authority. I
Oh,
know
man.
who's coming in.
When you died on True Blood, I freaked out.
Well, it's not as bad as you seem. That was actually my first time on a harness getting lifted up, so I was kind of flying. So it was really fun, though.
Sweet.
That's
It's
cool.
just like, wee.
What a great cast to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Work
yeah,
with Chris Maloney. Must be.
Yeah, Chris Maloney was really nice, though. He knows how to handle kids. Like, he's actually a father. He, at one take, when we were, when he has to lift me up at the shirt and stake me, we had to, when he gets there, we cut and then go, because it's like he's really fast as a vampire. So at one point he accidentally, not hard, I was okay, but he accidentally hit me a little on the back of the head, and just leans to my face and he's like, "Are you okay? You okay?" So, but he was really, really nice.
He's a class act.
Yeah, he's just like taking good care of me and stuff. So
Great. Jacob, are you on Twitter?
yes, I am on Twitter. My account is
Hopkins Jacob 5, right?
Yeah, Hopkins Jacob 5.
All right, so if anyone wants to follow Jacob on Twitter, you can find him at Hopkins Jacob 5. I just want to thank you again for coming on the show. We were really, really happy to have you, and best of luck in everything, man. We're looking forward to Missing at 17. That's October 19th a Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Lifetime.
You got it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Jacob. It was
Thank
great
you.
watching with you.
Yeah.
Nice with you too. All right.
All right. So getting back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's what we're here to talk about. And so Melinda is kind of finally starting to chafe at, being out of the field.
Yeah.
She wants to be more involved, especially after things go down so badly.
Well, and when you're so skilled at what you do and you're watching people kind of fumble around a little bit, a bunch of the newbies not quite getting it.
Yeah.
You want to get involved. I think that was part of Coulson's plan.
Totally. I think he's trying to bring her out of her shell, like piece by piece. He had to drag her onto the plane, and then he had to drag her out a little further last week, and now finally she's ready for combat duty.
She's there.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more excited because Melinda's a badass.
And I have to say, one of the most powerful things is obviously she knows as much as Agent Hill does as well, because when he said that he was going into the field, I need 2 men.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he's putting her in the she's as great as a guy category,
Yeah.
which as a girl I was like, yes.
And like Joss Whedon, that's like totally in
That's
that
what he does.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, he
His
always brings the-
badass chicks,
Which I love. Him and Quentin Tarantino.
strong
always
women
know how to do
all
it.
the way.
And he goes to her, you forgot, I saw plenty of action with the Avengers. And he walks away. And then she goes, and you died.
Mm-hmm.
Just really sad, no irony or anything within that. It was just, I think that was another reason why she feels like she's connected and has to stay with the group.
Yeah. Well, she's protecting him. She obviously cares about Coulson to some degree. She doesn't want to see him die again. And also, I'm worried about the first time he takes a bullet. The first time he takes a bullet and he realizes that, or he sees his circuitry or something,
Yeah.
and he realizes that he's been had, and just how devastating that's going to be for him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's an answer we're not going to get till later in the season, but a man can dream.
You want it to happen now.
I want it to happen right now, because that would just kick the plot into high gear. You know what I mean? Because we're getting all these little pieces, right? We know that skye actually infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. As a member of Rising Tide, and she was going to spy on them for Rising Tide. At the end of this episode, it appears she has swung into the S.H.I.E.L.D. camp. She was offered a job by Ian Quinn to do what she does best, help take down governments and organizations that limit people's ability to gather information and to, conduct private business and experiment with technologies they can't possibly understand. And she turned it down to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. because she finally understands that what they do is protect people from things that people can't possibly imagine.
And I think what she was saying, we find out that she was a foster child.
Yeah.
And had gone to different houses and never found a fit. And now she's starting to find a fit with this group, and she doesn't want to leave it. And she shared that story at the end with Ward.
I loved
she had the Brodies, but it wasn't her first family that she had left. But for whatever reason, that group, she really wanted to fit in with them.
Yeah. And it's more painful to want something and not get it than to never want anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's found another thing that she wants.
And they kind of need her.
Yeah.
They're starting to realize how much that they're lacking in that department. I mean, you've got a bunch of smart people. You've got people who can kick some major butt. And Coulson, who's just all around, can do all of those things.
And they need an asset who can be hot, young, secret agent sneaking around and distracting stupid men who are just distracted by her face and her hair and everything else.
I like that they put her in a bright color red dress to make her stand out. And I thought at one point when she was trying to sneak out, there is no way she can sneak out without being unseen.
Oh, not at all. No.
that didn't work at all.
Oh, no. There
was terrible.
Tons of eyes on her. Well, I mean, they put her in that bright red dress so that they could throw her in a pool and then have her run in the red dress soaking wet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's it.
Big ups to ABC Studios for that.
Matt appreciated it. Thanks, you guys. Keep it up.
Matthew approves.
More water scenes.
More water scenes. More water, more dresses.
They are in L.A.
Yeah.
They go to the beach a few times.
As long as she is a strong, well-rounded character who acts rationally and continues to prove herself and at times outdo her male counterparts, as all women do, then you can have your gratuitous water scene.
Exactly.
I think they earned it by giving her some much-needed character development this episode.
Yeah, they definitely
Yeah.
They gave her a lot to work with, which was good.
Yeah. I want to talk about Dr. Hall for a second.
Mm-hmm.
He and Coulson and Fitzsimmons all have a past, shared
Mm-hmm.
history. And I want to talk about his background from the comics really quickly. So Franklin Hall was a scientist working at a private physics research center in the Canadian Rockies on a practical teleportation device. This is from the Avengers comics. During an experiment, Hall overloaded the power, causing an explosion that intermingled his molecules with the subnuclear graviton particles that were being generated in a nearby series of companion particle accelerators. Recovering from the accident, Hall discovered that he could mentally control gravity. Recovering from a man of great ambition, he designed a costume, called himself Graviton, and took over the research center, lifting it thousands of feet into the air. Alerted to this threat, the Avengers tried to rescue the research center, and in the fury of the battle, Graviton unleashed sufficient power to cause the matter of the Skyborn laboratory to collapse inward around him. It was infused with the atoms of his body, turning him into a 60-foot giant with massive gravitational field. Eventually, he was able to separate his organic atoms from the landmass he had merged with. He went on to fight other teams over the years. He was kind of like a lesser villain, you know, in and out of the Marvel comics. He's given, obviously, a radically different origin story here.
There's still similar parts where you're going to see, I'm assuming the molecules, you know, basically take him over and are going to change him that way. So you had that similar part to it. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's not going to encounter the Avengers at any point. But I think they may take that and do it for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And
but here's the worst thing, right? Not only is he incredibly dangerous, he's in S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, or at the very least in the deep freeze, surrounded by other dangerous secrets. Mm-hmm. And once he finally emerges from the gravitonium with his powers intact, and
I'm
he starts
excited
using them
for that, though.
Totally.
How cool is that going to be?
Oh, how cool was the gravity sequence with him and Coulson? I loved that scene.
That was pretty awesome. That very much reminded me, and now I'm drawing a blank, of the movie with Leo DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were there.
Oh, Inception. Yes. It did. It reminded me of Inception. It was really, really cool, and it showed again the potential for this series to have conflicts and set pieces that no other show could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that only Marvel and Disney could make happen.
Yes, that they could dream up and only they could afford.
Exactly. The mouse has money.
Right, but like we're grateful for that, because when you're taking a movie franchise and you're shrinking it down to television, you're obviously going to lose a lot in the process. And I think that that's what a lot of people were struggling to deal with the pilot and really with the series going forward, is adjusting their expectations. What can we achieve with this medium? I think the better we get to know the people on the show and the sooner we come to love all of them and want to watch them every week, the easier it will be to accept the limitations of the medium. But this episode, to me, really showed how far they're able to push it with the visual effects. And Coulson's solution to shoot out the glass and quickly grab on, and Hall gets sucked into the gravitonium as the catalyst. Hall gave him no choice.
Yeah,
he's
really
like,
didn't.
you made your choice. Now I have to. You made your hard call. Now I have to make mine.
The only problem is that's really going to piss him off. So when he wakes up, Coulson's going to have a very bad enemy to deal with.
Totally. Oh man, I hope it doesn't take all season for him to wake up.
I hope not either. I hope they kind of maybe get one or two other people a part of their crew, because I know I mentioned this to you earlier. They've got, Mike Peterson hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
There that they can use later on.
So you're hoping for a super villain team up.
I think they're going to do I don't think they're going to make him a villain, though. I wonder if they're going to make him a good guy because he wants to save his son and everything. But we saw that if you watch the preview for next week, or if you didn't, cover your ears for a second, earmuffs, but they're having a rogue agent.
Yes.
That they're going to try to
That's hunting them.
Get back. Yeah. So if they happen to change her mind, then you've got her. You've got Mike Peterson if you happen to change his mind. And they can all making their kind of mini Avengers to go up against this new big bad. Because we had an origin story for a villain today.
Totally.
And I think definitely one that you cannot make into a good guy yet.
Yeah.
He has to be a villain. Mike Peterson you could make into a good guy still. But Franklin Hall's.
But that's the thing, right? Like, how do you even touch this guy? Because you fire bullets at him, he'll reverse gravity, so they get pulled back in the other direction. You know, he's like, I don't know how you fight him. He's kind of invulnerable to pain. Like, even if Iron Man was gonna fly at him, like, even though in the comics Iron Man defeated him recently by using a powerful new energy beam that came out of his chest. I know. But, like, even if he was firing a beam at him, if you reverse the gravity, the beam comes back at him, doesn't it?
You would think so.
You'd think so. Beams are affected by gravity,
Kristin. Anything with that, if you think about X-Men, Magneto is, well, all-powerful, but even he has his, moments where they're able to kind of
That's true.
trick him in certain ways.
But we don't have a telepath on this show.
Not yet.
That's true. Oh, good call.
That's why they have to wait to assemble this team.
Exactly. We get more good superhuman people who are, small-time superheroes, and we add them to the roster. Now, I know Joss Whedon, when talking about the show before its premiere, he said, that he didn't want it to be all about superheroes. In his mind, the genesis for this show, I don't know how well you know Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but was in, in the season 3 episode, The Zeppo. It's episode 313. It's all about Xander Harris being the guy who doesn't really bring anything to the team, ultimately having to save the day against all these zombies.
They take away Buffy and the main characters, and they make him the star.
Make him the star while they're dealing with the apocalypse. Nicholas Brendan.
I wanted to be Buffy with Spike when I growing up.
Oh, man. The epic romance.
Yes.
We can talk more about that later.
They should do a Buffy podcast.
Oh, my God. If we did a classic Buffy podcast, I would be so down for that. Hit us up on iTunes, YouTube, and Twitter. Let us know if you're into that. Let us know how we're doing, how you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so far. I know some fans are like, I don't know, I'm still giving it a shot. Some people are really loving it.
Some people are loving to hate it.
Some people are starting to hate watch the show. We want to know how you feel, so why don't you tell us on iTunes? Why don't you slap a 5-star rating while you do that? It helps us stay in the top 10. Thank you for making us the number 3 podcast on AfterBuzz and keeping us in the top 3 for the 3rd week in a row. We deeply, deeply appreciate it.
And we do read all of the comments.
We do. So don't think
shout outs to there's so many.
Okay.
Usually I shout out more in my other podcast to people, but we had about 30 different comments.
I know.
I liked one person, Howard Lockwood, said, why couldn't they make robots bleed red? Because somebody said, oh, he can't be a robot because we saw him bleed the other episode.
Yeah.
But it's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah.
I think that makes sense.
You can make robots bleed whatever color you want.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I liked Wild One Izzy, if I'm saying that correctly, where they also agreed that Melinda May rocks, and she thought, or he, I guess, wanted Skye to show up in the cockpit when Melinda was driving and try to connect with her and go, that's so sexy. Can I be you when I grow up? And that's a great line.
That is a great line.
Then Melinda should have said something back like, you could never be me.
No, she would have just given her a withering look, and she'd be like, right. Yeah.
You're right. I am sexy.
Yeah. You're right. I am sexy.
That's what
Deal
she said.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. I want to see her double-wield pistols again and kick some butt.
Well, I want to know a little bit more. I know we know about her in the comics a little bit, but I want to know a little bit more about her, how they're going to take that on the show, a little bit more about the cavalry, and I hope they have an episode that's more designated towards her.
I'm sure they will. I don't know if it's next week, though.
No, I doubt it. I think it'll be a little bit later on because everybody seems to like her anyways.
Right, so we need to develop some of the other folks first. Fitzsimmons looking right at you. But seriously, though, I mean, they had a connection to Dr. Hall this week, but yet it didn't really bear fruit in terms of character development. I know that this was Skye's big episode to shine, kind of like how, last week Ward and Coulson got a bit more to play with. But I need to see more from them before I can really pass judgment. Right now, they're just kind of the exposition team.
Yeah.
They deal with all the big jargon so that we can just move on and keep going. And I want them to be people because they deserve to be people because they're very nice looking and they seem very charming.
I do like the fact that Fitz was, when it was him and Simmons and Melinda all sitting there waiting for Skye to do her thing.
Yeah.
He was sitting there with a huge bowl of popcorn. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
And then they have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. water bottles literally on there. I like the little
touches.
attention to detail, but I like the fact that they were kind of viewing this as a movie. And then all of a sudden he had to, go and break some codes right ahead.
Yeah.
Right away.
Can you hack a keypad from there? No. Yeah. I loved that scene between her and Ian where she had to let him know that S.H.I.E.L.D. was listening in order to get him to trust her. Like it's a classic move. You've seen it 100 times in movies and TV, but it's a classic for a reason. And it
still shocks people.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch a movie over again, it's good because you've already seen it. You know it's going to happen, but it still gives you that, what?
Yeah. If you handle it well, any cliche is good. There's a reason why it got to be a cliche. It's because people loved it so much they kept doing it. And I thought that scene was handled really well. It showed that she could think on her feet and that she wasn't going to be stuck. And she's kind of proven her worth. Like she can hack, but could she hack it, so to speak?
Do you think when she did that, she actually had already made up her mind that she was going to be with S.H.I.E.L.D., or do you think at that point it was still kind of wavered?
I think she was still wavering. This whole plot to get into S.H.I.E.L.D. probably took a very long time to put together. Rising Tide is a cause that she believes in, and it's very important to their survival that they get someone inside S.H.I.E.L.D. She's probably, been eating up their doctrine. And anything that takes that much planning, you're not easily swayed, and it's really after being around these people and being around the kinds of people that she once, thought were heroes who are actually making lots of money off of unfortunate people who are experimenting with the kinds of things that they can't possibly control.
So once she heard what he had to say, that's what triggered
That's
her.
what sealed it. Because, even last episode, she was playing devil's advocate for bad guys. And she can't even do that anymore. And now that I even think about last week when she sent that text message, she looked torn. She looked torn. And I think finally she's been pushed over the edge into working for S.H.I.E.L.D. The question is, what happens when her bosses at Rising Tide want an update?
Yeah, how do they go about that? If it ruins anything?
Well, not just like how do they go about it. What happens when she doesn't give them anything? What do they do? Or what other plans were in motion? What if
they retaliate? Is that what you mean?
Totally, because we don't know what kinds of weapons they have. We don't know what their agenda is other than to, make the world more free. I feel like they've kind of sold her on Rising Tide as being kind of like WikiLeaks, where, we're freeing up information and we're making sure that everyone is able to know what these corporations and what these organizations are doing, behind closed doors. Look at S.H.I.E.L.D., which had this unlimited energy source and it caused an alien invasion. We can't allow these kinds of organizations to exist. Yes, they are fallible, but they're also the only thing we have protecting us from the things that go bump in the night. And I'm wondering if Rising Tide is going to get their hands on Graviton. Like maybe that's what happened. Maybe they plan a big heist or like an assault on cold storage, and they take a bunch of good stuff. That one agent.
I like that idea.
That one agent, he pockets the barcode of the vault where Graviton is kept. We don't know who he works for.
Well, didn't Coulson say for him to do that?
I know that's what he said, but we don't know who we can trust. And
that's true, because maybe he did it and still going to keep that anyways.
Yeah,
but
maybe
I thought he was supposed to leave it where nobody's supposed to know what it is, and that was part of it, where nobody does know what it is, and it might be a, hey, surprise, there's Graviton.
That's probably what it is, but I don't know. There's part of me that's just imagining a pile of nameplates just like that in somebody's locker somewhere.
It's in his room with candles.
Yeah, he's got a shrine to it that Rising Tide's totally gonna find, and then they're gonna visit all those vaults.
Or is he part of Rising Tide and he's already in?
That's what I'm saying, right?
I think I'm stretching with that, but you never know.
Here's the thing, Kristin Carole, and you don't know me that well. We've only been doing this show together for 2 weeks. I am all about stretching it too far because I love crazy theories, because when they're right, we look super smart.
That's true.
And also, like, that's the whole fun of watching these kinds of shows is anything could happen, so why limit your possibilities? You know, Rising Tide is an organization that is obviously determined, they are well-connected, and, you know, they're operating with under S.H.I.E.L.D's nose without them knowing about it. They could easily slip more agents in there. If they've been around for years, who knows how much damage they're ready to cause, how many people are ready at the push of a button to flip and cause all kinds of damage.
Well, and I'm kind of ready for it. I think she would have to play along a little bit with Rising Tide just to keep the rest of the group safe. The problem's going to be, they're going to find out that she's been still contacting them. And maybe it's at a point where her and Ward have this romantic relationship. Totally. And then that's where it breaks down.
Or it's like right before he's about to make that move and he's like,
will you go out?
With
No.
what?
What is this?
And it should just go exactly like that. Writer's room, if you're listening, is will you go out with what? Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. No one wants anyone to do that.
Just
so
give Matt credit if they give you any
Just
problems.
don't give me credit because that's terrible. I'll know that I have credit and I'll just have to sit in my apartment knowing that I ruined Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So don't do it. Just don't listen to me. I'm going to go home. No, I'm not because we still got more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there was...
Thank you. That was my Academy Award-winning performance, or whatever the equivalent, my Streamy Award-winning performance. That's the Streaming Media Awards.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What else do we got this week?
What else do we talk about?
We got the training. We got the confrontation. We got some great action. Ward got to beat up a bunch of guys. And Skye's training with disarming a guy paid off.
That was wonderful. I was watching that, and I want to learn more of that kind of stuff.
I thought that was like a really great scene because not only was that super cool, it was very true to her character that when he was like, but you're not going to use it, and she's like, nope, and she just drops it and she runs.
Yeah.
Because she's not a killer. She's not a killer. She's in over her head.
I thought it was kind of funny how, Ian Quinn said the same thing that Ward said, but now that you have it, are you going to use it? And I didn't like the security guy that said, you've got balls, or she's got balls.
And she's like, gross.
Kids got balls.
Yeah, kids got balls. Gross. Ew. Shut up, security guard. You don't know.
But I think that's always cool when you see the main character she's still able to escape, but not resort to just killing him straight out. On the other hand, you want to go kill him. But I think most of us, if we were actually put in that place, would try to avoid that at all costs.
I wasn't like kill him. I was like maim him, like give
just
him a
right in the leg.
Yeah, give him a limp.
Just make him, yeah.
He deserves at least a limp for being such a dick.
I think I could do that. I don't think I could actually shoot him in the head quite yet, but just definitely stall him.
Totally.
Stop him from coming after me.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but he's still on the loose, yeah?
Yeah, he got in the helicopter and they took off.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
No, he'll pop up again.
He'll pop up again. The way he was introduced, it appeared he already had a reputation. He's a player in the international arms world, in super technology, in oil. The dude is connected. He's got the money. He's got the ambition. We're going to see where that ends up.
The problem is going to be now he knows that Skye is with S.H.I.E.L.D. And also knows of Rising Tide, and he let her come there.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a potential for him to squeal.
Well, but at the same time, Rising Tide could rationalize that as she can't blow her cover until we pull the trigger.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm sure we will see more of that. I think it is time we move into formal predictions for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
predictions. Kristin Carole, what do you think is going to happen next week?
We talked a little bit about some of it, but I think they're going to get this rogue agent to be
a good guy again.
I think it's going to have to do with, I think they're going to focus on more Skye with that because she's also somebody who's against S.H.I.E.L.D. and now she's with them.
Okay.
So I think she's definitely going to be a key thing that they're going to have to use to get this person back because she's not technically a part of them yet.
Yeah. I think my two big questions are, who has the biggest relationship with this agent before she turned. Is it going to be Coulson? Is it going to be Melinda? And I think they're going to play a huge role in that story. But then the other thing that they said was, someone's controlling her. So who's pulling her strings? Is it Rising Tide? Is it another faction? Is it another disgruntled agent? We don't know. So that's what I'm most curious about. I loved that we continued upping the action this week, and I hope we get more action next week. And the series is slowly becoming the show that we want. And I think as fans, we have to give the quality of the team that's behind this show. I'm willing to give them a certain amount of rope.
I agree. I give them a season to flesh everything out.
And I'm pretty sure that by the end of the season, hopefully by mid-season, we're looking at a show that we don't just think has great potential, but that we're excited to watch every week, and we can't wait to see. And I know that show is in this show's DNA.
I do too.
All right. Kristin Carole, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Kristin Carole 13, or starting Sunday, I'm back on Walking Dead. If you like Walking Dead, we're going to have a poster giveaway with awesome names on there, like Norman Reedus and Andrew Lincoln.
Terrific. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Sons of Anarchy and Sleepy Hollow after shows. We have a giveaway of our own on the Sleepy Hollow show. It is a pun jar-based sweepstakes where we are very goofy on that show. We make a lot of puns. We're putting money in that jar, and we're going to give it away at the end of the season. But the only way to find out how to win is to watch that show.
I'm going to start watching your show. I could use some money.
You could use some money. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening, and reach out to us on YouTube and iTunes. Tweet at us. We will see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.